Good morning, you guys. Look at who's goofing off and who got a brand new haircut. A little better, whatever. Oh, and making the change. Be the change. Change. Be the change. I got a good question. Why? Why don't the Jews have a home? Why don't they have a home? Why? Are they always running around gathering rocks? Is that what's going on? You know that? our Bibles being a spiritual book, it may or may not be represented as something that's on earth as well as in heaven. But the definitions of these different places, like our book being a spiritual book, that what is considered earth is our minds, and it's the lower level of our mind. All right, that's where God's footstool is. The higher side is the right side of our brain after we have made this place for God to come and hang out in, for the Holy Ghost and all of that. So you'll see that just as it is on earth, and the Jerusalem, which is below, that is in bondage, is a mess, just absolute mess. No matter what, they said the temple is destroyed. They've got some other kind of, I've got another false temple hanging out up there anyways. But this is the idea that God's left the building. He isn't on the earth, and he is not up in heaven either, really hanging out with us in our minds. This is the right side of our brain, the grievous head wound. So it's also this place of devastation, all right, until we get our works done. And, and while we're following around with the whore and the bitch, this side of our brain doesn't work for us, So the religious side of us, it's not a spiritual thing. It's just an outside approach to spiritualism where, you get shown the ropes, but you don't necessarily walk the walk. All right. And a real a person of God's calling is going to be a meditating person, someone who meditates, who goes within themselves to connect with God. And this is him returning home, is wherever the body, wherever the carcass lies, where it lays, wherever it falls, the eagles will come find it. And so this is a direct reference that you don't have to be any particular place on earth in order to get this beautiful comeuppance that we have been waiting for. And that you'd find that this is why there's really no home for the Jew, is because it's inside of us. And the Jew is someone who lets their soul free, and it already has a home. It's inside of us. That's where its home is. And that's where, when we find this out and we let him loose by breaking the bread and letting this innermost part of us out to go and do Father's bidding, that now it has a home. It has a home within us. It doesn't need a home anywhere else. But if you were to say, if we could get all of these people that are working with, or on my channel, to bring God in, this is God's home within inside of every one of us. We don't have to go any place outside to find God. That's the whole idea behind it. That it doesn't have a home. It's out there collecting rocks. These Jewish people of God are out collecting rocks. And if you were to understand that all they were really fascinated with would be this pineal gland, Petra, Peter. This is the temple of God right there. And so, this idea of not having a real home, that these Jews are always wandering around. That's because they're fitting a part of the spiritual book as something as a physical side. So, it becomes this physical side, and they're not honoring mother and father. They're not, they're going to a synagogue, or they're going over here. They're waiting to build another temple, physically build another temple. And Christians are still waiting on Jesus to show up. Just still waiting. This is so telltale that God has left the building out of you, and and he's already told us he doesn't dwell in any building on earth. Earth belongs to the devil, belongs to hell. And here you guys trying to bring God to come down here and live. No, earth will be a situation where you can't do two things at one time. You can't serve the devil and serve God at the same time. This idea of the well in you cannot put out salt water and fresh water at the same time. It has to make its mind up which one it's going to do. And it's your mind, not someone else's mind outside there. That's crazy. So the reason why God's people, God's promised people, do not dwell with God is because they do not bring him into their lives by honoring both sides of our brain. They are strictly hell-bent, and they're everybody. We're not just going to say the Jewish people themselves, but everyone on earth is cut off at the sixth chakra. All right. That means they can't get any further than this. This is in symbolism. That means they're just running up and down the shore. They never embark. They never leave this. They never leave the land. They never leave the land. They never go away to go and allow the Holy Ghost to clean house and stuff like that. And so you have to jump off the land and go out into the water in order for this to happen. That's how it works. And say, oh, well, it happens inside of us, we can't see it and stuff like that. Well, it is still the works. It's what the Bible tells us to do. So that's why a Jew doesn't have a home, because a Jew is an inwardly person. And until you open up this place, you won't have a home either. You'll be going to this one outside, the one that's in bondage, the one that is representing hell on earth. If you want some peace in your life, you'll start off one head or one mind at a time. And that's what we do here in this channel. We try to bust through and bring light to one mind at a time. But it ain't easy. All right. So this is why a Jew cannot find a home. All right. And when we finally do find a home, it's when we finally do find this home and we are turned into this prophet, which is what it means, when you've connected with God, because you're talk to God. You can now, it's a situation where you talk to God. You're with God, and this is a particular kind of counsel in which we can bring all kinds of knowledge from, and whether or not you believe that there's a voice inside of you talking to you, it's our own mind now under this wonderful counsel, so that you won't make as many mistakes as you had before. But it's still you're still gonna have to have some problems here and there. It's you, and God doesn't come in and control you. The devil has had that already for a long time. Father's been controlling you, taking all of your wealth and all of your earnings and everything. And so now, it becomes just the opposite. You're free. You're free of all this business. And so is your soul. Your soul found its home. Its home is inside of you, but now it has gone and sits up here between mother and father. The seat of the soul, the sixth chakra. This is where he is. This is where it's always been. This is where theta. This is where all of that business is. It's all in here. All in here. All right. So you have a home. We don't have to go anyplace else. I'll chat with you soon. I hope you got something out of this.